right. Well, I think that we're going to get started. So I just wanted to thank everyone today for joining us for our last Lunch and Learn of 2024. Today, we're going to talk about TAB, our services, and our products. We're going to give a brief company overview. We're going to talk about our uniques and, like I said, our services, and then we're going to take a deep dive into our executive summary. On the call today presenting is Erik Semmel. He is our VP of Client Success, and myself, Rebecca Altomare. I am the Learning and Development Coordinator.
All right, thanks, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is a different kind of lunch and learn. As you guys know, we've been talking about other technologies in our past lunch and learns, kind of specific, but we felt it would be kind of a good time since we've been now around for 43 years to kind of remind folks who we are, what we do, why we're here for you, and how we help our clients succeed, which is the whole purpose for our existence. Tab started back in 1983 as a custom software provider. We had like a small handful of clients. The CHFA, you might have gotten your first mortgage from the Connecticut Finance Housing Authority. Well, if you did, our software was the one that managed those mortgages. Our software managed $1 billion worth of mortgages through the CHFA, and we wrote custom software for all sorts of businesses: insurance software, medical software, logistics type software to deal with cutting cardboard for a packaging company, or literally cutting tutus for people who were having their kids go and participate in dance recitals. That was, believe it or not, a multi-million-dollar business where the guy retired and sailed around the world. We were creating his software, and we changed back when I joined the company in the early 90s. Kind of moved away from custom software and moved into what's considered the managed services industry. Managed services or value-added reselling is something we do for businesses who need IT resources to help them manage their systems, whether it be their networking, their security, their cybersecurity, their workstations, their servers. We help implement ERP systems for customers who need to manage those things. So we've been around for a very long time. We have 46 employee owners that are certified in all sorts of different areas of IT and technology. One of the more recent certifications we received is one of our senior engineers, Richie Cohn, achieved his certified CMM professional certification, which is very important when it comes to compliance. And we have others that are looking for that certification as well. But thanks to our learning and training coordinator, Rebecca, our folks are constantly being trained. We're one of the few companies in the region here that actually has a formal training coordinator and we actually offer time during the workday for our people to actually train. Most of our competitors have them do it on their own time, which is a way to do it. We really want them to be trained though. And so the big question is, if you train them and they leave, what's going to happen there? Well, the bigger problem is if you don't train them and they stay. We work really hard on trying to help our folks understand the technologies so they can better support our customers and you guys. And then, of course, we're proudly now 100% employee owned as of 2021, which also gives our folks another point of view when it comes to being an owner themselves and how they want you to succeed so that they can succeed as well.
The money's in the account now. I mean, we can initiate a transfer from the account, but I'll let you do that.
So our uniques, our primary uniques that we've promoted very heavily, we think, is that we don't lock our customers into long-term contracts. Many of our competitors will lock their customers into 1, 3, and 5-year contracts. Now, many of our customers, though, service their clients without contracts like that. If you're a lawyer, you don't lock your customers into having to work with you for 5 years. If you're an accountant, you don't do that. If you're a financial planner, you don't do that. If you're a manufacturer, you don't do that. So for some reason, the IT industry has decided that we are so indispensable that we want to lock you into long-term contracts that even if you dislike our services or our prices or anything, you have to pay stiff fees or penalties to fire your IT guys. That is not the case with Tab. We are happy to earn our customers' business every month. We have customers that go back more than 20 plus years, that have been month to month. And it's really, what is it about our industry that thinks we should be locking you in? The only reason companies do that in our business is purely to build up the actual customer base so the owner of that company can sell his business and move on. And by locking you in as the customer, you're just a commodity to them. Well, we actually care more for our customers, we feel, because our job is to earn your business every month. You can let us go in 30 days. So it's a big unique difference between us and most of the competitors here in Connecticut and in the entire nation, actually. Our industry is fully encouraging us to lock you in, and we refuse to do that. Obviously, the other unique is that we're 100% employee owned. We're one of the few companies that are doing what we do that's 100% employee owned. So we already talked about that a little earlier. Huge advantage as far as our employees' dedication to your success. They're working not only for themselves as employee owners, but to help you succeed, and it's a win-win proposition. And the other thing that's unique about Tab is we're one of the older IT companies that are out there. We've been over 40 years in business supporting small businesses just like you. And no matter the industry, no matter the vertical, we have experience supporting those industries. And we've made plenty of mistakes over 40 years and learned from them. But there are plenty of up and coming IT companies that just, put a shingle up and say they're an IT guy. Well, there's lots that they don't know that we have experience in and have learned from. So we draw a lot of experience for the 40 years that we've been in business, committed to your success. So what do we do? So yes, we're IT people at the core. So we are always looking to figure out how we can help you with your service, with your technology needs. No matter what the technology need you have, we want to try to help if we can. We're not experts in everything, but we do focus on your workstations, your Windows-based systems, your network infrastructure, your firewalls, your wide area networking, your wireless networking. We can assist with your cloud needs, whether it be Microsoft 365. So any kind of technology support, you can use us as your first line of defense, your IT department that will do its best to interface with third parties, to make things happen for you, and always look for ways to improve your technology and make sure it's up to proper standards. You do not want to find yourself getting behind. That is an issue when it comes to compliance. It's an issue when it comes to your risk. Being open to any kind of risk or attack without having your updated systems. You don't want any end-of-life systems that are sitting out there that are open. You want companies like us to prevent that, and that's what we're all about. Government compliance is also something, as I mentioned, with our recently certified CMMC professional. Lots of our military clients are looking to become CMMC certified, and we have a tremendous program that we have in place for our clients to become certified and compliant so that their primes keep sending them business. We have a tool called the Tab Compliance Manager that actually offers up to 50 different frameworks. So whether it be CMMC if you're military, whether it be PCI compliance, whether it be HIPAA compliance, FTC compliance if you're an auto dealer, or if you're in the financial world and you want to become compliant, we have the frameworks and a tool that allows you to understand how you attain and maintain that compliance. It's a big job. Someone tells you need to be compliant. You just can't set a few policies and forget it. It's an ongoing process that you'll be living. So our tool, I like to say, is kind of like the TurboTax of compliance. It helps you understand where you stand. It gives you an idea how far along you are in the compliance. It gives you a place to put the evidence to show you're being compliant. You can actually assign duties to internal people to make sure they do their aspects of compliance so you can manage the process. It's a big job. And in this day and age, if you're not thinking about compliance or being as compliant as you can when it comes to doing the right things when it comes to cybersecurity. So when they say it's compliance, all they're saying is make sure you lock your door. Don't leave it wide open for the bad guys to get in, and follow proper procedures. Don't lose the same passwords. Make sure you have 2FA enabled. Make sure you have security awareness training running. All those basic cybersecurity requirements. And believe it or not, the cybersecurity aspect of this is only 40% of the compliant process. The other 60% is how you run your company. You have to do it in a certain way to be compliant. And then, of course, hardware consultations. We started out as a value-added reseller. So we would sell hardware and then provide the expertise to implement. Well, of course, we do that now as well. We can provide servers, workstations, laptops, switches, routers, whatever you need. It's always free for you to talk to somebody like me in the client success department to give you the best recommendation for what you should be putting in into your organization. And this is tried and true technology that we've applied across over 400 customers, 9,000 systems. So we have a good mousetrap that we apply to most small to mid-sized companies. And because we're a la carte, you're not going to just get the same mousetrap. You're only going to get the tools and solutions that are best fit for you at the lowest cost that gives you the longest service. We hope to get 6 years out of servers. We hope to get even more out of that than that from workstations. But the key is here, you can work with me in this department and in our client success department to talk about anything you might need, and we'll send you down the right path. And there's never a cost to go and talk about that. So yes, we do voice over IP. Some people don't know that. That's why we're having this lunch and learn. So we sell the AllWorks phone system. It's a $100 million company out of Rochester, New York. It gives you all the power and technology of voice over IP without the monthly cost. So you can put it in the cloud if you want to pay us monthly, but most of our customers purchase it outright. If you're looking for a phone system to get more current, you basically can go with us and have your IT company support your phone system and your network infrastructure. Why is this important? Well, because phone installers who are not IT people will try to sell you these solutions, plug the phones into your network, and then when they don't work, they call companies like us to fix them. By having it all done by one company, it's going to give you that continuity of service, the understanding of how the network is configured, the proper understanding of how quality of service works on IP packets. Because when you talk about voice over IP, you're taking your analog voice and converting it to a digital packet, and that goes through your network. The old days of just listening to it over Ma Bell with the analog lines are gone, and this system is great for that. And you don't have to pay for it monthly. We're agnostic when it comes to dial tone, and our system is pretty much able to handle any method of dial tone you wish, whether it be voice over IP lines, whether it be old-fashioned POTS lines, SIP technology. We can get you the dial tone. That's your only monthly cost, versus most of the folks that are out there now will charge you 10 to 20 or even more per handset or per user per month in perpetuity to put a phone system in, and that's frankly ridiculous. You don't have to pay forever for your phone system and have it cost as much as it does. You could buy our phone system 5 times over a 20-year period for what you would pay for somebody monthly to have it at $20 or $25 a seat. So keep us in mind if you're looking to make a change in your phone system. We also provide Microsoft 365 Cloud migration, service, and support. So we have many Exchange servers out there, hundreds of them, and we are migrating hundreds and hundreds of seats at a time to move people into the Microsoft 365 Cloud so they can retire their old Exchange servers and take up some of the benefits of the Microsoft 365 Cloud. We can have you just simply migrate your email only and keep the rest of your data and applications on-prem, or we can help you even retire whole servers if there's no other use for the server at all. So Microsoft 365 is something that we have lots of experience with and are going to continue to do those migrations for our customers and help manage their 365 implementations. We also will back up the Microsoft users that are running Microsoft 365 so your data can be protected, because just because it's in the cloud doesn't mean it's backed up. So if you have Microsoft 365 now and you're not backing it up, you're at risk of somebody on purpose or by accident deleting all their email before they give you notice. And it's good to have a backup. So we can protect the entire instance, whether it be the SharePoint files, the emails, everything as part of Microsoft 365 can be protected. And we have a lot of experience with these migrations. So when the time comes, keep us in mind and we can help you get that done. We do also infrastructure wiring. We partner with a wonderful company in Southington. They've been working with us on doing infrastructure wiring for the past 15, 20 years. It's a flat per drop cost of around $200 a drop, to give you a ballpark, and it's done correctly. Many folks think they can do wiring. Electricians all the time, I get in trouble for saying this even when I say it on the radio. Electricians may not know how to properly install data wiring. We find it all the time. Oh, I'll have my electrician run the wiring, Eric. Well, they always leave the ends off. They haven't tested them. They haven't even marked them. They haven't even numbered them if they've not done it professionally. So we partner with a wonderful vendor here in Connecticut called EDP, and they will do the job right for our customers at a very affordable price. So if your wiring is getting near 10, 20 years old, it's probably running Cat 5. You're not getting the performance that you should, where you can get to a Cat 6 level that'll support gigabit performance. Keep that in mind if you're looking to make an upgrade to your infrastructure, and keep that in mind in general, because your infrastructure wiring is the premise of your network. If your wiring's a mess, everything else will be a mess. So you always want to start with a good solid premise of your network, which would be a good solid networking wiring job. So we have a proven process. We think it's pretty proven. We're always working on it and trying to improve it. But you have these three concepts when it comes to what we do for you, and to keep you guys operational so that you can go do what you do for your customers. But we're going to be there for you as far as support goes with our trained staff, as I've talked about with Rebecca. 3 levels of in-house and field support technicians to help with installations. So these guys have all sorts of skill sets up and down the line, from the most basic things to help you with to the most complicated things. We have a fully stocked inventory. Most of our competitors do not have that. They simply say, hope you have your warranty, and then they wait for the shipment to come. We actually stock what we sell. So if you have a switch that fails, we don't have to wait for it to be replaced under warranty. We can actually run one out. If you need a hard drive for your server, we can run one out and take care of it. If you need a computer, if you need a whole server, we have it in stock so that our customers won't be down for extended periods of time as they wait for their IT vendor to get the hardware in. So that's huge improvements and benefits versus most of our competitors, that we have stuff in stock for you ready to go. Yes, we do not stock laptops. They're too custom. We've considered it, but we don't right now. They're just too custom. And then, of course, we report on your inventory on a regular basis through our executive summary. We're one of the few companies. I was just on a call yesterday with a company looking to add some VC capital to one of our customers, and they were going through all of their IT needs and all of the due diligence of the IT before they loaned them the money or provided the support they were going to provide. And they actually complimented me on the fact that they could answer almost 95% of their IT questions simply through our executive summary. I can tell you right now, most of our competitors don't do that. They are not looking to they're looking to keep you in the dark. We want to keep you understanding and being on the same page, so that you know how old your systems are, what you might be looking to replace or should replace. And this executive summary comes out every month. If you're not getting the executive summary and you're supposed to, let us know, because it is an invaluable tool to understand your network in general, and it's hopefully designed in a way that most people can understand. But of course, you can always call the client success department here, and we'll answer any questions you have. And of course, proactive management happening on your systems. So we have our patrol dog technologies in place, monitoring and managing and watching your systems. We have our cybersecurity systems in place that you subscribe to. So when you put all that together in our proven process, we found over the past 40 years, it's a pretty good approach to keeping our customers up and running and reducing their downtime due to things that could have been prevented. So here's our executive summary. We'll get right into this thing. This is very important that you look at this. You want to pay attention to your executive summary, because we're not going to call you and say, hey, you should change your server every we're not going to call you up and say, hey, your server's 5 years old, it should be changed. We're going to tell you every month the age of the system, and you can make that decision, but I'm not going to go bang on your door telling you. And sometimes the server tells you on its own because it starts to fail. You should get about 6 years out of your server. So let's take a look at this executive summary, as we call it. So we break down everything as far as Here is your basic recommended cybersecurity tools and services. These are the cybersecurity tools and services we have available to you, and we show you if they're in place or not. There's that tab compliance manager I mentioned. In this case, this customer does not have it active, but they do have our security awareness training going. So they are getting some good information about security awareness and how their systems are, what they should be preparing for when it comes to ransomware attacks or what have you. They're going to get that training, and we're going to fish them on a regular basis. You don't have our MDR in place, or you do have our MDR in place. That's a next level security technology for most aerospace customers who need to be compliant with NIST or CMMC. Do you have two-factor authentication in place with Duo? You should. If you don't have that in place for all your even personal accounts for 2FA, you're just leaving yourself open to the bad guys. And putting two-factor authentication is also important when it comes to cyber insurance. If you guys have cybersecurity policies, they're going to want to see that you have 2FA enabled. We also can back up your workstations because people do keep data on their workstations. For some reason, people think putting the data on the workstations is more secure than the server. It's not, but we want to back up your data if you do happen to put it on your on your workstation, and we can do that. And then we show you how we back up your individual servers. We have a product, our hands-free backup, that'll back up your server every hour, and it goes local to a local target, a NAS in your office, and then goes off-site. And it's fully FIPS certified encryption to protect your data. We have an EDR running for folks. Tells you how many seats are running in this case, and that technology is going to help with any kind of tradecraft that bad guys are going to use when they see, for example, if Rebecca let the bad guy into her computer and the bad guy wants to get to my computer, it'll see that lateral movement and it'll shut that movement down automatically. The MDR that I mentioned earlier does that with humans, live humans, in a security operations center in Maryland. But you would subscribe to that if you needed to. We're a la carte. We don't force it all down your throats. We want to make sure you have what's in place and you can afford what's in place. And we're just going to recommend what you should have. And hey, it's just like your dentist tells you to floss. If you don't do it, your teeth will fall out. Then you've got our web defense in place and your email defense. Web defense basically is a filter so that it keeps your people off the inappropriate or malicious websites that could cause problems for you. So those technologies, whether you bring your laptop home or not, there's actually a little client that actually enforces what your company says is appropriate or not. So you can actually keep people off whole categories of services, whether it be social media, whether it be shopping sites, and obviously the inappropriate sites that can deliver damage to your company. We show you how many service tickets you had over the month. We show you how our entire client base feels about you, about us, with all the feedback that happens. So you'll see how you guys felt about us specifically, and then you can see how our clients feel about us in general. This is a monthly survey that we do. And you can also see if you have any domain and SSL certificates that need to be looked at. And we also show you what's being blocked, or where people are trying to go through the web defense technology and how we prevented them from going there. And some of that stuff you'll see that'll kind of make your hair curl, but not in my case. But you'll see some pretty crazy places that people try to go that we can actually prevent. We also break it down by server. You're going to have domain controllers, mail servers, application servers. We tell you the age of the operating system, what's running, whether it's still supported or not. We tell you whether or not it's configured with enough RAM. We let you know whether or not you have some of the security tools we recommend in place. And if you do, we give you a checkbox in all the areas. We also let you know whether or not it's running out of storage. And this is checked on a regular basis. We also let you know when it was last patched. So you'll see this report was created on November 3rd, and we patched the server on the 14th of October, which is good. So you're getting current, up-to-date information, and the 8 gig on the memory and 8 gig or less warning is something that we've told our programmer about, and we just can't get that to be fixed. He's tried. It's a custom report. We're very lucky that we have in-house custom programmers that actually make this report work for us. Most of our competitors don't have this luxury that we can actually incorporate all the technologies that we put in place to have it actually report for you. So we're very lucky in that instance, and it sets us apart. Here's another example of a server where, look, it was purchased on April of 2019. We've been warning for the past year that you should be considering a replacement, and then we put a note up there that in this case it is being replaced. Shows you that the operating system is 2016. It's still supported, but it needs to be updated. Also shows the UPS hasn't responded in a while, so there's a problem with the communication with that UPS. So if you lose power, then you might have a problem, and that's been going on since August. So these types of things should be addressed and corrected. There could be a reason that the UPS isn't responding. Maybe you kicked the cable. It could be that silly. And again, we're going to recommend what you should have in place. We also talk about how long it's been since the server's been rebooted. Microsoft is a monstrosity of a software package, and it likes to just chew up resources. And if you don't reboot the server regularly, it'll start getting slower and slower and slower. So you do want to reboot. It also allows for service packs and patches to be applied. So this executive summary goes through all that, shows you how much space is left on your drives, and kind of gives you an overall health. This is getting into the 70s because it's an old server. Here we're going to show you how many systems you have in general. 28 computers in this case, 7 servers. We're going to show you your NAS target backup. In this case, it's an older target purchased back in 19, which would make sense because that's when the server was purchased. So it needs to be replaced with a new server. We show you where your technology is existing. If you notice, in this case, the client has a Bloomfield location and a Windsor location. So we show the routers and firewalls. We show the warnings on the end of life and why it should be replaced. But again, our department's not going to just keep banging on your doors and tell you to replace these things. We're going to let you know. The thing about technology is it's really pay me now or pay me later. You can keep running the old technology, but the problem is if you leave it outstanding and it hasn't been updated or patched, the bad guys are going to leverage that hole that's sitting out there that you're not aware of, and they're going to possibly get into your system simply because the manufacturer is not patching it anymore, and they're not patching it because it's end of life. So you'll see what's current with the check marks, and you'll see what's should be retired or replaced with these warnings. So we try to keep you as up to date, and this is a monthly report, so that you're able to act on that if you wish. We then break it down by workstation. You'll see we use asset tags. So everything has a specific asset tag called the ATN number that you've used with us as far as getting remote support. We'll break down on each computer what services are in place and which ones are not. So in some cases, you'll see red X's, meaning some of the services are not in place. Like in the case of ATN 68642 right there, you'll see that there's no two-factor authentication turned on, and we have not done the backup. There's no backup on that workstation because the customer said they don't want that. It shows you the last time it checked in, which was, again, this is a November report, so it was checked in on November 1st, so that's still a computer that people use, and the person that logged in was Jay Smith. Looks like Jay Smith logged in a couple times on different things, but Jay Smith is pretty popular. Also shows the operating system is Windows 11. It shows that it's an active system. It shows when it was purchased, which was May of 2020. It shows that the expiration date of the warranty was 2021. This is stuff that you might have purchased on your own, and or you got it through us, but we show you how old it is. So this is a 4-year-old system. So you should get 6 years out of your computers, we would contend, so it's got a few more years left. We circle the ones that are obvious that need to be updated. Windows 7 is a dead operating system, and it's a risk if you have it running in your network. So we let you know about that. Nobody can say they didn't know when it comes to the executive summary because it's there. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So this is pretty good data for our customers to actually be able to work together with us, be on the same page literally, and discuss where the improvements should be made.
This list also shows the blocklisted programs. Can you talk a little bit more about a blocklist program versus maybe a blacklist program?
Sure. Well, blocklist is actually that. So we want to warn people about things like log me in. So log me in is a security risk. Somebody's using a remote tool to get into that computer. Log me in is a legitimate tool. So if somebody is legitimately using it in your business, you can go over and talk to C. Smith and say, hey, are you using log me in? And if they say yes, they are, they're using it to remote in, that's fine. But if you talk to them and say, no, I don't know anything about log me in, then we would probably want to remove that because the bad guys use legitimate tools to get into your system. Same thing with things like Dropbox plugins and Google Drive plugins. Any kind of plugins like that, we warn you that are there. They can cause or give access to malicious tools. And they should be removed if nobody's using them. But lots of log me in going on here at this client, if you notice further down. So lots of remote access happening. And if you're the owner of the company or responsible for the network itself, you should be aware that these openings exist. There's nothing wrong with these openings if people are using them legitimately. There is something wrong if people just leave them there and don't pay attention to them or are not using them. So that's what they're all about. They're just warnings. And then, of course, there's the key below there kind of describing the logos above as to what you see. So we give you everything we know about you. And again, this is the best we can do. Basically, Patrol Dog is going to check in and tell us what we think is on your network. If you buy a computer on your own and don't let us know about it, it won't be protected. It won't have the tools in place. It won't be tagged. It won't be monitored. It won't be watched. So you leave yourself more open by not letting us help you with that and help you be protected. Our goal is simply to help you succeed. But if you're putting in something on your own that we're not aware of, that's called rogue IT. Maybe you put in a firewall you shouldn't have put in. Now it's handing out DHCP addresses. Now all your IP addresses are kind of a mess because somebody doesn't understand the difference between a firewall and an access point. We see that all the time. We've been screamed at for IP issues where the actual internal person was installing stuff and didn't realize what they were installing. Our goal is to help you prevent these types of things from occurring and causing trouble to your network. So keep us involved. You're welcome to buy things on your own if you don't want to go through Tab, but let us help you, at least warn you what you should be getting or shouldn't be getting if you're going to try it yourself. And then we break down all your software. So we'll show you the Windows operating systems by ATN, who's got what, which ATN's got Windows 10 still, who's got 11, your server operating systems, and then we break down all of these software in the network itself that we see. We can break it down by ATN for you if you want us to, but this tells you all the software that we see on all your computers that have Patrol Dog running. Also, we don't charge for Patrol Dog. Most of our competitors do. We only charge for your server to watch your server. We give you Patrol Dog on all your workstations for free. Because it's so important to be on the same page. Without Patrol Dog, you don't get this executive summary. You don't get this data. So it helps us help you. And there's more examples. And there's a block listed. We're not a big fans of Bonjour. Any questions? I went through that pretty quickly, but I realized we're already at 30 minutes. So
you did good. We started like at 12:05, so you're fine. You guys can use the chat Q&A. You could also unmute yourselves if you have any questions.
All right, hearing none.
Yeah, I know. No questions.
Feel free to email me anytime, esemmel@tabinc.com. Happy to answer any questions you have. I hope that gives you a better understanding of Tab and what we're here to do for you and how we're working hard to help you. It was just a brief overview of what we do. We will be launching a new website soon. We're very proud of that coming out the next week or so. Just a flashier look of the same technology and same data, but it's going to be all there for you. We're very much enjoy working with you and supporting your companies and helping you succeed. Without you guys, we're nothing. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there's no questions, then we'll go ahead and end the webinar. And like Erik said, thank you guys so much for partnering with Tab and for joining us during this whole 2024 Lunch and Learn series. More dates to be announced next year for our 2025 kickoff. Thanks, everyone.